Hello children, this is Udesa. Welcome you to today's session of the online class. So students, as you know, we have started revision of your SST, that is geography. Okay. So in our last class, we had discussed some parts of your chapter number 2. Okay, globe, latitudes and longitudes. Globe, latitudes and longitudes. Okay. So some parts of this lesson we had revised in our previous class. Today we'll see further of subsection whatever given. Okay, so this is the revision only, means shortly whatever the important parts are there. Okay, so those only I what to discuss and those only I just remind you all. Okay, so students, let's go. First here we'll go with the heat zones of the earth. So which are the heat zones? Those about we'll discuss in this subtopic. Okay, so heat zones of the earth. Let's go. The areas between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer receive direct sun rays and get maximum heat. Okay, so this area is called the torrid zone. Okay, so here listen carefully. The areas between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer, okay, so receive the direct rays of the sun and get maximum heat. And this means these areas, this area is getting maximum heat, and this name is named torrid zone. Okay, so this zone is called what? Torrid zone. Okay, so then the midday sun so never shines overhead on the any latitude beyond the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So here the midday sun so never shines where? Overhead, means never shines on the overhead. Okay, so on any latitude, so beyond the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So the areas bounded by the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere have the moderate climate. Okay, and are called temperate zones. So here the moderate climate where the areas bounded by the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere. Okay, so similarly Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere, means this area, means whatever the areas bounded between these areas. Okay, so this area experience what type of climate? Moderate climate. Okay, so and this zone is called what? Temperate zones. So whatever the zones are there. Okay, so those zones are called what? Temperate zones. Okay, then so other very cold zones are frigid zone. So other very cold zones are also there. They are called what? Frigid zones. So they lie between what? The Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere. Means frigid zones are lie between these places, these areas where the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so these areas are called what? Frigid zones. So these are the things about heat zones of the earth. Okay, so these are the things what shortly we discussed only. You just keep this thing in your mind that we are discussing only in short. Okay, so not detail into the lesson we are not going. Okay, so then come to students here the water longitudes. So water longitudes that about we'll discuss here. So recall whatever the points are given and whatever the important things are there. So we'll discuss them only. Okay, so if we see a globe, we'll see a number of semicircle lines running from the one pole to the other. Okay, so if we see the globe, then what we will find there? A number of semicircle that lines running from one pole to the other. So one pole means here North Pole and South Pole. Okay, means those lines, semicircle lines are running from where? North Pole to the South Pole or South Pole to the North Pole. Okay, then so these lines are called the meridians of longitude, and distance between them are measured by degrees of longitude. Okay, so here these lines are called what? Meridians of longitude. So these lines are called what? Meridians of longitude. And distance between them are measured by what? degrees of longitude. Okay, so each degree is divided into minutes and minutes into seconds. So here means each longitudes or means degrees is divided into means degrees into minutes, then minutes into seconds. Okay, so in this way these are divided. Okay, then so unlike parallels of longitude, all the meridians are of equal length. So the unlike parallels of longitude, latitudes, unlike the parallels of what? Latitudes. Latitudes are means not means same length. So latitudes are not the same length. So all meridians are of equal length, but meridians are of equal length. So this thing keep in mind. Unlike parallels of latitude, all meridians are of equal length. It is agreed by all countries that the counts should be begun from the meridian which passes through the Greenwich. So where the British Royal Observatory is located. Okay, so it is agreed, means all over the world. So means agreed upon this thing that means the means time or means meridian from which it passes. So that is called what? Greenwich. Where British Royal Observatory is located. Okay, so this meridian is called the prime meridian, means from there, where? From the prime meridian only, all countries whoever there. Okay, that means they start counting the time from there only. Okay, so that thing here mentioned, so that passes through where? The Greenwich, where the British Royal Observatory is located. Okay, then the prime meridian and 180 degree meridians divide the earth into two equal halves. So the prime meridian and the 180 meridian. Okay, so divide the earth into how many? Two equal halves. Okay, so this thing you keep in your mind. So means these are the things about longitudes. So these are the things about what? Longitudes. So then students come to here longitude and time. Okay, so longitude and time. So that about we'll discuss here. So the best way of measuring time is by movement of the earth, the moon and the planets. So the best way means what way we can measure the time. So the way is how? What is the movement of the earth, the moon and the planet. Okay, so then the sun rises regularly and sets every day. So rising of the sun is the regular. So even means the sun never takes a break. Remember this thing. Sun rises regularly and sets every day, and it is also naturally, and it is the best timekeeper throughout the world. And it is the means the sun is the best timekeeper throughout the world, means all over the world sun is the best timekeeper. So though you don't have the watch, but if you can see the sun, that means you have the guess, that you have the knowledge that what could be the time. Okay, so it may not the exact time, but you can guess means the time which is just means nearby. Okay, so that thing here, that the sun rises regularly and sets every day and naturally. So it is the best timekeeper throughout the world. Okay, so then when the prime meridian of Greenwich has the sun at the highest point in the sky, all the places along this meridian will have midday or noon. Okay, so when the prime meridian of Greenwich, has the sun at the highest point. So at the means prime meridian of Greenwich, means at the Greenwich. So when the time, so when the sun is at the highest point, and in the sky, the places along this meridian. So whichever the places are means there, so on that particular meridian will have the midday or noon. Okay, so means in the same meridian, whatever the places would be there. Okay, and means time would be the same. So if it is the noon, means if one place is it is the noon, that means all through that meridian should be the noon only. Okay, then so as the earth rotates from west to east, so the rotation of the earth is known to us all. So that is from west to east. So those places east of the Greenwich will be ahead of Greenwich time, and those to the west will be behind it. Just this thing is very important. Those just listen it again. So those places east of the Greenwich, means whichever the places are there east of the Greenwich will be ahead of Greenwich time. That means suppose they are means at the Greenwich is 2 p.m. Okay, so ahead of the Greenwich, that means towards the east. Okay, so the time will be means more than what Greenwich time. Okay, so and the places which are the west of the Greenwich, so that those time will be means if it is the 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. At the Greenwich, the time means west towards the Greenwich will be means backward. Okay, so back, so that thing here, those to the west will be behind. So listen this again. So those places east of the Greenwich will be ahead of Greenwich time, and those places west will be behind it. Okay, so then at any place a watch can be means adjusted to read 12 o'clock when the sun is at the highest point in the sky. So here at any place, whether you are in India or any means place in the world. Okay, so if the sun is ahead, that means just means at the over the head of your over the means over your head. Okay, so if the sun is over your head, that means it is the means midday, or you can say it is the noon. According to that, you can also adjust your what, the watch. So if it is the noon, that means it is about 12 o'clock. Okay, so it may not be means exact time, but it is the possible time. Okay, so students, this is the things about longitudes and time. Okay, so that about we discussed. So now we'll means go into why do we have standard time. So why do we have the standard time? What the requirement of the standard time? If we don't have the standard time, what will be the problem? So that about just here we'll recall that. Means in our means last class, means when we had taken the means first period or first class of this lesson, we had gone into this lesson detail. So but today is it is the revision time. Okay, so we have to go just briefly or shortly. Okay, so why do we have standard time? That about we'll discuss. The local time of means local time of places which are on different meridians are bound to differ. So here the local time of places which are of different meridians. If the local time here mentioned, local time of any places, so which are of different meridians. If the places are situated or located at different meridians are bound to differ. That means time would be differ there. Okay, for example, it will be difficult to prepare timetable for the trains which cross several longitudes. So here means important thing here mentioned one example, as one example here given. It will be difficult for any government or any train time keeper. So prepare the timetable for who trains which are crossing several longitudes. Some of the trains are there, so which have to cross several longitudes. Okay, so if such situation, then it would be difficult for prepare the timetable for that particular train. Okay, so in India, for instance, for example here in India, for example, so there will be a difference of about 1 hour and 45 minutes in the local time of Dwarka in Gujarat and Dibrugarh in Assam. So here says this just in India only. In India, for example, here given. So there will be a difference of about 1 hour and 45 minutes. 1 hour and 45 minutes in local time of Dwarka in Gujarat and Dibrugarh in Assam. Okay, so local time would be different. Just two places here just situated in India only, but the time difference is 1 hour and 45 minutes. Okay, so you can guess here. So it is, why is it so? Because of the meridians, because these two places situated or located at different longitudes. Okay, so it is therefore necessary to adopt the local time of the some central meridians of a country. So it's the standard time for the country. Okay, so that's why it is necessary to adopt the local time. That means we have to adopt, we have to accept the local time that is central meridian of a country. That is called what? Central meridian. That means we have to follow one standard time for our whole of the country. So it's the standard time for the country. So that would be the standard time for the country. Okay, so in India, the longitude of 82.5 degree east, that is 82 or minute, so 82 degree and 30 east is treated as the standard meridian. So here says the longitude of 82.5 degree east is the treated as what? The standard meridian. Okay, so that time is means taken as what? Standard time. Okay, then the local time at this meridian is taken as the standard time for the whole country. Okay, so local time at this meridian means whatever the time there at this meridian, so which meridian? 82.5 degrees. So whatever the time would be, so that would be taken as the means standard time for our whole country. Okay, so that we have to accept that one, we have to means agree upon that only. Okay, so it is known as the Indian Standard Time. Okay, so that is known as what? The Indian Standard Time, or in the shortly it is IST. Okay, so this is called what? Indian Standard Time or IST. So students, here we made the means some important discussion. Okay, so I think all of you have gone through the video carefully and means sincerely whatever the discussion we made. I think all of you have understood it well. Okay, and today as you appeared for the surprise test, I hope you all means done very well, and in your means coming exam means which is going to held on when on 20th means on Monday, that is your PA1 exam. I think all of you are means preparing yourself for that one. Okay, I think this one also you will do means best, because I have the means faith on you. Okay, so students, for today's class that much, we'll means see other whatever the chapters are there, we'll try to means revise them in between this means exam session. Okay, so students, for today's class that much, we'll means see each other in our next class. Till then, goodbye.